the open ocean. Beautiful.
Yes. Yes. Let me set this one out. Okay. That is 6. Then let's just begin.
Tom, you're getting like all the Dhamma and good meditation vibes today. Already for the 1 hour EU, then for the class, and then doing the meditation.
Yeah. I mean, what else is there to do on a day like today? You know, it's like cozy days are the best days for meditation.
Yeah. Tom is reading. It's Tom Friday.
Oh, I thought Tuesday and Thursday.
No, Tuesday.
Tuesdays and Fridays. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's working well, actually. Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. I'm waiting for a day that become a Tom full day. Dhamma and meditation. That's the dream.
Tom full day.
Full day. It's like a Dhamma talk and then guided meditation too.
You do like 2 hours.
Oh, full
the
day.
whole
Do the
package.
Dhamma lesson and
Yeah, maybe
The whole package.
in the future, maybe. Yeah, we'll get there.
All right. Let's meditate for now a little bit. Now, when we close our eyes and bring our attention to ourselves, I think it's important to take a moment to realize that we are shifting from one activity to the next into an activity that we thought that we are doing and we think that we should do all the time. And it's because of the shift that tells us that although we think we are mindful throughout the day, even when we think that we are mindful even before we meditate, but to close our eyes, bring our mind to settle within ourselves, is a whole different sensation experience. And that's why in mindfulness practice, clear awareness is the key word. That clarity signified being into it 100%, full attention is our focal point. And you feel that it is that you're here entirely in this place, in this moment. You can wash your object that you have a liking to. You can observe the unfolding of phenomenon that rise and fall, be it sounds, images, or emotion that comes and go. Or observe the reality that suffering is always there if we take the time to focus, always there as a foundation of life. Choose the one that you like, the one that makes you feel comfortable. Because all of them hinges on the same principle, and that is to be aware and continuous awareness. be it with the object, be it with the thing between you and the object, the rise and fall of sound, images, feeling, or a state that's hard to bear. We call that dukkha. You can know or focus on one point, or know, become aware of everything all at once, the area in general. No matter what it is that you chose, it is just knowing clearly all the time. And so be content with your decision. And never forget to keep it simple and easy, and enjoy every moment. And now that we have given time for our mind to clean itself, we can slowly and gently open up our eyes. All right. Welcome, welcome. So I do have a topic in mind, but because Tom's here, and only us, is there anything you want to talk about, Tom? Any questions? Anything that you want to talk or discuss about? Let's do like a podcast style thingy.
I didn't have anything in mind. I'm happy to talk about like whatever topic you had in mind, but I didn't have anything to bring to the table. No.
I see. Well, today have a chance to meet with a student of Prajan who started together when I did, and he just came and talked about how he's doing. Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Happy to have you here. Well,
Hi guys.
yeah. So, and he was sharing of how his life have changed ever since he met my teacher and started. Actually, he'd been in Buddhism for more than 40 years, but life started changing after I met my teacher. And he said that the big thing that changed him was constantly observing his mind. Basically, the thought, emotions rise and fall all the time, and able to distinguish between the thing, the kusala or kusala, good or bad, and help him to, at the first, help him to manage his company. He have a touring company, 2 companies, help him to, it's like he said, whenever his team presented him with the plan for the tour and everything, from observing his thoughts, he kind of no idea what to choose and what not to choose. And things start to get easier from that point on. And now that 2.5 years have passed, he find that although he have 2 companies, he barely have to work. He have to call with the company once a week. That's it. He is so surprised that the time that used to take up his life with work and family no longer there to consume him. He have time to focus on studying Buddhism, focus on meditation, focus on his family, and now looking for the next level where he want to find a place for 3-4 months to 3 months to kind of like be secluded in a forest, cave, monastery, and his story really talks about a life that every being should have. A life where if they place themselves in the right system, all they have to do here is just to reap the benefits, not have to work. Akin to someone who have built up his or her own empire or company, able to set a system in place so defined, clear, and effective that they don't even have to interact with the company. At the end of the month, just reap the benefit, the income and everything. And that's something that we think all the time, and we debate among each other all the time when it comes to ourselves, our company, our studies, and society and governance in general. Many policies talks about how can we abolish a system that doesn't bring any value or benefit, that discriminate, divide. How can we implement a system that's more inclusive, helping, burdening the load of the citizen from different demographic, different voting groups. Not only that, but talks about how to improve on the system. And it is because of the knowledge of system that the world are able to move forward and progress in such a way that it is helping the humanity at large. In all our life, we find ourselves always part of one. It is so vital that if you're a up and coming manager, a sizable firm would most likely send you off to study about managerial skill and about how to create an effective system. The rise and fall of company watch hinges on a system in which they operate under. If they find that their fiscal return was not up to par, then they modify. Each individual are like cogs in the system. Switch this one out for our next, switch out the culture, the CEO, the working, and then watch the result in the next quarter. And we know that that's the secret. If things are nice, it means that the system's working. If things are not nice, it means that the system is not working, and therefore need to change. If we want to set up our company, we need to create a system of our own. If we have a task in which we have to manage 10,000 people to help them, let's say, for example, a hospitality firm, like a hotel, for example, then we have to set up a system to manage 10,000 people. A single person who can do that can manage 10,000 people, not because he is wise and not because he himself does it, but rather the system is the one that does the job. And we see this example throughout our life. And for some, when they recognize this, they come up with plans, routine programs in which they monetize that if people follow their program, their routine, then their life too will change. This is astonishing in the fact that anyone who follows a program, let's say a dietary program or a fitness program, no matter their experience or their know-how, find themselves able to change and transform. The degrees varies person by person, but people can change. People can change. The reason that people are able to change is because the program and routine that they subscribe to and live in accordance with is working in tandem together in parallel with a system that all of us are born with. The system of the body, system of the mind. Two systems. We all are well familiar with system of the body. We know how they work, we know how they operate. So much so that a routine as simple as telling you what to eat, what exercise to do, and when to sleep and for how long, dictating you what input should you take for a certain amount of time frame, allow people to change. That's because if they want to get fit, their body already knows how to take care of cholesterol, how to break and build new muscle, how to circulate all the nutrients to the right places. The miracle of the body that works systematically, automatically. And so dietitian and these routine gurus just tell people on what to eat, what to input, how much rest, how much water. And the heavy lifting and the bulk of change, the transformation, are done by the body. And so it's a collaboration between the system outside and the system that we have, our body, that create that transformation. And so for those who wish to change, they find ways to implement routine structure, copy and paste famous people who find success in life and try to emulate them. But many are not clear in that fact. Even if they put themselves in a routine, in a program, they are not clear or aware that it is a system that does the changing for them. As long as we stick to the routine, to the program, as long as we stick to a system and live by it, in accordance with it, under its rules and regulation, without breaking them, then the change, the transformation that we look for are ours to benefit from. So with that easy and clear concept, when we look around us, what we see are people selling result, selling you what you will get at the end of the program, what you will get by the next 30 days, how much transform you have. They tell you the result. But what we don't realize is that the system we put ourselves into and we live by is the one that produced those results. And so the need to bring ourselves into a good system is important. It's vital. And that is exactly what the student of my teacher does, is that he put himself in the right system. Not physical system, but the system of the mind, which works the same way as any other system. Because what he does is he watch thought and emotion that rise and fall. There's only three things here: thought, thinking, emotion, or feeling. Thought, thinking, emotion that rise and fall, and we can observe them if we choose to stop accepting all and start to give time and consideration for the one that rise and falls. And he does it by able to see clearly which one are right and wholesome, which one are unwholesome, and which one are just clutter that take up space in his mind. And from that he can choose what to implement. He can choose what to input. It is like a choice that are there for us to take in, for us to follow through. The reason that it is a drastic change for him is because he was clear and genuine and truthful to what he wants to put in his mental system, that his mind, and what that he doesn't want to put in. Many people also believe that they need to start doing something new or doing something good to change. But for when I asked him, or when my teacher asked him, he said that, oh no, what I did was stop accepting the wrong input. I didn't even begin to do the right input yet. I just stopped putting in the wrong input. For those who want to go on a diet or want to change up their dietary routine, one of the first things that people will say is stop eating first. Instead of looking for veggies and protein and all these vitamin to stuff in ourselves, stop with the thing that we are putting in at the moment. Because what people don't realize is that before they choose to embark on a new program or journey or routine or system, they are the byproduct of the current system. People always look forward to see what they want next, what result they want. But rarely do they see and reflect on how did they get to this point. Cause and effect is something that we all have at the back of our mind when we talk about Buddhism. And many talks about what cause to create for good outcome, like salesperson, right? But about cause and effect is that it runs in parallel. Both cause and effect runs together at the same time. The outcome or the effect of past causation are running together while we are creating new cause for future future effect. Meaning living out all, and you could say karma, for example, while creating new one, both at the same time. And that's why when we look at our life, we can see a timeline of how we get to this point and what we're doing to get to a new point. And so for my friend here to watch his thought all the time, it helped him realize that, oh, there have been input that's not so nice that he's been indulging in throughout his life that he wasn't even aware of, or that he knew that it was the problem but didn't give enough weight or reason to care about it. About stress, worry, anger, agitation, annoyance from his employee or family. But just by observing and seeing the input that because of habit, because he has been accepting for many times throughout the days, the weeks, the months, the years, it become automatic. But when he chose to make the decision to stop, it no longer become automatic because everything now goes through a checkpoint, like a custom check. No longer is the input free flow. He put a check on it, and he can check which goods or which thought emotion should accept or follow through or indulge in, which one that should be left outside the border, outside our mind. And just by that alone, without even implementing anything new, he stopped. He stopped the cycle that lead him to the dangerous and not so nice place that he was when he met my teacher. It's because of those input that he didn't know. He found himself at that place that he realized he need to change or else something will happen to him. And so first, what he did is he stopped the running of the old system because he realized that this is the engine that was running all the time. And that is what led him to there to begin with. Only when the old system stops or pauses, then the new system can start to run. We cannot run two systems at a time. One had to stop, only then the new one start. Now that he put a custom check on his thought, thinking, emotion, now he start to pick, okay, good one in, good one in. And that slowly begin to create new causation, new good causation for new good outcome. And that's how he does it. From a person with company in two different countries, need to have no time for anything, now find that his two companies are growing the fastest they are ever grown ever since they have opened it 15 years ago. And only when everything fall into place and he no longer actually have to have to involve in any operation. Only one call once a week. And he just there at home looking for how to better himself more while the money from his two companies flow into his bank account. All because not only that he set a system for his own life, but he used the same concept to improve on his employee's life, his firm's system just by, and he learned that from learning about his mind on the mistake that he done with what he input, realizing that everything, mind, body, company, and everything is just a system, and that if the method that he used for his mind works, then it works for the body, it works for the company. All right. So there was the sharing of my friend and also the student of my teacher that I met today. Now I talked about the input that we have in our mind. Those are thought, thinking, emotion. It's a transition in Thai from นึกคิดความรู้สึก นึก is to recall or thought that arises by itself. The next thing is thinking. Thinking and thought. Here, make a clear distinction. Thought are what arises naturally by themselves and fall. Thinking are, in traditional terms, are what we indulge in. So when thought arises, when we are lost in it, it turns to thinking. Even though you're not the one making the thinking, you're just there to follow narrative around. But thinking here is about wrong view, wrong intention, maybe biases, perception, worldview, and all of that stuff. All wrong way of thinking, wrong way of concluding, summarizing, articulating, interpreting. So yes, it does mean thinking in a traditional sense because it's the detail of the thought, detail of the topic. 1, 2, thought thinking. And also last one is about emotion, feeling emotion. That for those who are keen on or are sensitive to emotion might say that it is they are emotionally driven, but and say that they don't have many thoughts, very emotionally driven. But what they don't realize is that if asked how you're feeling, what does that feeling emotion wants you to do, they can articulate. Because what they don't realize is that thought, emotion comes as a bundle most of the time, in general, where we say thought or thinking is just information. And those information, citta in Pali, come with cetasik or emotion, or the feeling of that word or the feeling of that information. So we take the time to kind of like reflect on what is it that our feeling want us to do. There's a thought behind it. There's an information behind it, and that is the hidden thought that people don't realize. It could also be said that this feeling tell me to do this. This feeling want me to do that. It's very, very strange to say out loud that your feeling dictate specifically what it want you to do. For some people that crave food, it's not that they crave any food, but they crave that one food. I want popcorn. I want not steak, not this. I want popcorn. Very clear. At the other time, craving for food comes up, but now it's about sushi, for example. Very clear. And we can decide, do we want to indulge on it? Sure, it arises by themselves. We know it. We acknowledge it that it is there. But do we act upon it? So yes. So those are the things that about the input of the mind. It can I think I'm gonna have to find the charging brick for the laptop. I'm losing.
This thing is really hot.
Yes, I think it's overheating. I'm losing power more than charging.
Oh, it's like the laptop is charging the socket.
All right, sorry guys. 1 moment. My brick is not charging, and I'm gonna run out of battery. Okay, not too bad. All right. Okay. Before we go on, any question from Tom, for example? Or do you have any input or any feedback? What do you think?
No, I don't think I have any questions. I don't know. I guess, like what I heard was like, be in the good system,
Yes.
Although I kind of like, it's similar to something that I heard recently that was about like psychology, and they said like, is it better to focus on positive thoughts, like cultivate positive thoughts, or to eliminate like bad thoughts? And they said like overwhelmingly the results were like eliminate bad thoughts. It's like you clean out the so like opting not to be in a bad system is better than trying to force yourself into a good system, I think.
Yeah, and that's a good. I think because you kind of have put it into like a perspective or context first, right? It's like if let's say for example, I'm just shoving junk food. Would eating broccoli be more effective, or stop eating junk food would be more effective in the beginning? Of course, stop eating junk food would be stop the input of negative stuff would be more effective first and foremost.
Mhm.
And then after we move on, then let's implement something nice into our system. So if we talk about dietitian, they will also say the same thing. Now, yes, because if the old engine keep running, then how can we ever change? Right, only one system can run at a time. You're gonna have to stop the old engine first and kickstart the new one. Yes.
Yeah, it's like I felt like there's this one meditation. It was a long time ago. I think it was at Parpay, but it was kind of like I imagined like all of like my thoughts coming in, and my job was kind of like to put them the right way up. Like they had to go kusala, like they had to like be wholesome, right? And so if something came in that wasn't wholesome, it was my job to figure out a way to make it wholesome. It's like there's always some way to do it. Which actually, I must say, how my theme of this year is mudita. It's a really good one. I'm very, very like surprised about how effective it is, especially when I'm annoyed at people. Like when I'm annoyed at someone, and I think that's one of the great things is like, we're talking about like reducing kind of negative mind states. And I find that like, yeah, there's sometimes like a little bit of like mental gymnastics that you have to go through to kind of make it wholesome. So for instance, yesterday, it was meditation during the day. I think it was yesterday. Yeah. And as soon as I sat down to meditate, like my mum is in the other room on a call with a loudspeaker on, just using her outside voice, like 2-3 meters away from me. And I'm trying to meditate, And so instantly I find this annoying, It's like I didn't want that to be my focus of meditation, but then I don't want to be annoyed, Like obviously it's a negative mind state. And so, I'm sure there's like another way I could go about it, but like I take that as an object. So first I was like, all right, like I'll pay attention to it. But I found that didn't really help at all. I was still annoyed by it. But then I was like, all right, mudita is really good for this, where it's like, all right, you know what? She's happy. She's talking to her best friend, like she's in a positive mind state. I can hear it in her voice. She's happy. I can get joy from that happiness. And so I figured out how to just kind of like shift for my own sake, right? For my own mental sake, to shift it from like something that was annoying to something wholesome. And then it became like, again, it was an object still. I was still paying attention to the sound, but there was no unpleasantness in there at all, you know, like it was just an object for mudita kind of thing. And so I don't know, I feel like I'm always trying to reduce like the negative stuff, and just kind of naturally it allows more positive things to come through, you know.
That's in what you're doing there. It's called Titi Shukam, Titi Shukama, which is in Buddhism. There are 10 actions that brings about good energy effects. Good energy. The 3 basic are like generosity, you know, with studying and meditation. But the 10th one, the most difficult one, is Titi Shukam, is to change wrong view to right view.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So that's what you're doing there. Is because to change one view, you have to have enough wisdom, or rather, have to connect with your inner good. And so, and no, first reject the inner negative, like you know, all the defilement, everything, which I say, hey, there's no place for that in me, and then use that, connect with the inner wisdom or inner good to say what's the right thing to go. And then you are, and that's the result. That's what you've been doing. That's very nice. It's the highest thing to do. And
Nice.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It seems to me like I'm less focused on like trying to push myself towards good than I am just to reduce the negative, you know, or at least for me, I find it much more motivating.
And
but
actually,
yeah, it's funny because then like after a little while, I come up more conditioned to being wholesome, you know, and then when someone is, you know, unwholesome, it's so weird to me. It's like, oh, why would you allow yourself to go down that kind of mental track? Like that's just going to lead you and no one else to like internal suffering. But yeah.
Yes, that's very good. Yeah, your way is the better way to go. But of course, for it's depending on which level that people start on, right? Now, for you, Tom, who's been through a lot and have the wisdom, you know, okay, I'm gonna check this, gonna turn to. You have that clarity on which side of the coin you want to be, not this side, but this side. So that becomes something natural. And that is the right and better way to go about. That's for your growth is very fast. But for those who cannot think of any good thing but only have bad thing in mind, we say, you know what? If you can't connect with the inner good, then why don't you begin with stopping the negative input for now? Because the like a compared to the requirement is the least required thing to do, right? Just like a don't accept. Now, so for some, that might be the first step and the only first step that they can take for now. And after that,
for themselves, you know, like it's unpleasant to be in those kinds of mind states, you know?
Yes.
And so, yeah, that's always been my motivator, is like, I don't want to have to experience that, you know?
Great, wonderful, Tom. That's very nice. Very happy to hear. And as you go on, you'll find that there'll be situation in which you need more wisdom, because as you try to change attitude come to from bad to good, you know, wrong view to right view, you'll find that, hey, the right view that I implement is not strong enough to quench the wrong view. It's like, for example, when you have someone that you're very angry about and you're like, you know, I tried this, like he's a good guy and blah blah blah, but it's still mad at him, means that the antidote is not strong enough to get rid of the disease. That's why then we still have to approach the one who knows, say, hey, I tried this and this, it doesn't work. What news, higher wisdom can you give me so that it will then, with a snap, take it. So it's difficult because it requires us to upgrade all the time. Also look for the coach, the one who knows to always elevate up. So I'm very happy. Yes, mudita. Mudita is something. The Brahma Vihara Dhamma. That's a long word. Brahma Vihara Dhamma is something that naturally occur. The purer the mind become. Naturally occur. So if not, I asked my teacher this. I said, if you hold this fourth thing, you become like Brahma. He said, no. But it is, every Brahma has it. Because it's like the quality of the mind. When you reach that point, this is the quality that you naturally gain. Right? And to have made mudita first is to not only see the gratitude or the good in other people, but also to look beyond yourself too, right? Instead of, that's why worshiping, no matter why it is, worshiping even Buddhism is such a big deal, because by or like arms round, right? By seeing that, oh, they are the one who is virtuous, have helped me a lot. I give this to you, despite if I might, a bit hungry or whatever it is. It takes that virtue have to be strong enough to help quench the hunger and everything. That's why it's something that is hard to do too, if our mind is not pure enough, right? Look beyond yourself. Right? I could have made donation under my name or something like that, but we decided to put under this person's name, or the project. Instead of labeling my name on the front of the paper, put other people's name or something like that. So
yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting to me that like people generally would want to be joyful, right? Joy is a very nice mindset, but I've also noticed that like it's something that's very difficult just to like shift right into, like joy for yourself. It seems to be more like circumstantial, like something happens and then joy kind of comes through, but like similar to maybe happiness. But like mudita, like joy for other people is really close, like it's not difficult to get to at all. And I think it's a funny kind of contradiction that if you do really want to be joyful, it's like the quickest way is to seek that out from the happiness of others, like it's right there. But we tend to want to find that joy for ourselves, and it's this big long journey that's it's like not worth it.
In Pali, in Thai, we arrange it. Brahma Vihara Dhamma is four, right? Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Ubekha. The reason it is in this sequence is because of the steps. The higher, the tougher. To metta is to wish upon other people to be free from suffering and attain happiness. If you're happy, be made happier. That's intention, to wish a being to not have enemy, not have foes. Easier than karuna, compassion. Compassion is the state that drive you to do things, to speak and to do. Wishing and doing. But this one, mudita, is to pay back those who have helped you or you were grateful to you before. Mudita is it's like you have a teacher and then you pay back to your teacher with like worship or accolade or whatever this is mudita, to see the value inside other people and do so. Mudita. It is there are details to it, but we can go into that later. And lastly, ubekha. Ubekha is the strongest. Why? Because remember the input that we talked about? Ubekha is the strongest is because if you have ubekha in everything, then there's nothing that can stop you to enlightenment. The thing is that the reason ubekha is such a big thing is because desire and aversion really is the thing that gets to people. the thing that lures them, invites them, points to them. But if they are no longer subject to desire or aversion, meaning have ubekha, then there's nothing that can lure them to make a false input, right? In the system, it's like there's no temptation for me to do this because of no greed, no this, no that. Everything become logical, sensible, all looking at the outcome. Will it be good? Will it be helpful in a short term, mid term, long term? Because you're unbiased, you can always pick the best thing. And so let's say, for example, one day AI governs the country, and if we program them to only look at immediate benefit, mid-term, long-term, everything good for most people, then that utopia might be a prosperous one, because no longer with this. No wonder why in parliament or in high offices, this or in judge and jury, this ubekha is so highly demanding or need to be to give the right thing. That's why.
Well, that's my that'll be my resolution for next year. That'll be an interesting year, I think.
Yes.
But I thought mudita would be like a tricky one, but it's been really rewarding, actually. Yeah, it's a good tool.
Mudita is beautiful because they have a hidden teaching behind it, Tom. Because to have mudita, it also have to link with how to elevate yourself. There are 5 steps to elevate yourself. And also at the same time, as we elevate, when we say we want to move ourselves away from our inner defilement or all the ego and every bad thing, the higher you step up the ladder, the further away you be from it. Yeah. And that's why the first ladder, I think you heard before, is acceptance. If we live our life with a group of people or someone that we don't accept, then there will right away be a divide between you, I, you, me, us, they. A divide now, where you don't dare to ask them for their resource, and you will not give your resource to them. There will be a divide of limited resources. But if you accept them, you open your heart to everything. And if your inner kind of like bad nature does come up, that I want to hate them, acceptance will be the barrier to help mitigate that. It is easier to hate the opposite side rather than hating someone you accept. Because that's a first buffer. Also elevate your personal virtues to the quality of your own life. But that's just one of the 5. The second one is to appreciate. There's no better term, but to appreciate means to see the good qualities and to count them out. That's why we see gracious politician that say, he might think different from me, of different opinion, but he's a great father, a great service to the country, this and this. Although, right, I might not respect him, but I do appreciate all the good that he's done. And when it comes to the time where we're gonna crash, that thing, that the good that you're able to see in other people will help mitigate the hatred or the divide in further. Elevate yourself to allowing you to see the good in people or the bright side of everything, because you're able to have an eye for it. After we see that in people around us, again and again and again, as we reflect on the good quality, we start to respect them and say, you know what, I respect them, because no matter the situation, he is a good father, a good partner, a good whatever it is. Because we see them and we appreciate them highly, we respect them for it. Respect come after this one. As we focus on respecting someone, we then will become the person that we respect will become a light that invigorates us. We call that admire. Let's say, Tom, for example, you see your hero. Your hero is this bright light, someone you look up to. Because they are bright, you become bright because of them, right? You yourself find that you have no courage, maybe not enough courage or the good within yourself. But you think, what would my hero do? Then because of their brightness, you become bright too. You have enough courage, just like a hero. But to have faith is a different thing. To have faith in someone, in yourself, means that you yourself become the light. No longer reflecting off other people, but you yourself become the light. Because of these 5 steps, the higher we go about it with ourselves, other people, the higher your mudita will be. Imagine how much you pay back those who you accept compared to those who you appreciate, compared to those who you admire, compared to those who
You respect or admire.
respect, admire, compared to those who have faith in. Your the give back and the appreciation and back to them increases high and high with this. To perform this at the highest level, we also have to climb the ladder here too, to ourselves, to other people, one by one by one.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like giving money to a beggar will never be as high as the money you give to those who you have faith in.
I like that. Yeah.
So yeah. All right.
Nice.
That's my lesson. Okay. I'm gonna stop the session here. Boop. All right. Now